Hey there, Stampers, and welcome to another Step It Up video. This is the birthday edition because my friend Amanda is having a birthday on Sunday. So I'm making birthday cards for Amanda. So this is the step 1, step 2, and step 3. I'll go ahead and walk you through it. This is a pretty simple card. I think I'm using all celebration items today. Yes, I am. So let's get started. We're going to start with a Baja Breeze card base. It is a 4 1/4 by 11, folded at 5 1/2. Do a crisp thing with your bone folder. For the level 1 card, I am using the Designer Series paper from Playdates. And this is the old olive little pattern. And you're just going to adhere the pattern paper down. And then using a piece of Whisper White, we are going to stamp. I'm using StazOn black. And let me find my stamps. I didn't have them out. Sweet Summer from Celebration. And also the So Happy For You birthday wishes. Those will be the stamps that we're going to use. There's a bunch of different ways you can color this, but let me just stamp it and show you what I did, and then you can play with your own ideas. Start by doing the stem. I always huff on the cling part, and then I never have a difficult time getting it to stick. And you want to make sure when you're stamping the stems that you leave enough space for your birthday wishes, but also enough to stagger your flowers. Woo! Lifted right up with it. So you're just going to stamp the 3 stems, and you want to go up on the middle one a little bit, and then back sort of level with the other one. I sort of do the top 2 leaves with the bottom 2 leaves is how I gauge it. And as easy as that, and it doesn't have to be perfect, pretty simple. On the level 1, I just stamp directly on the step 1 here with the flower heads. And I'm still just using the same block and switching out the stamps. So that's pretty easy to do. And then the last one. Like that. And then the birthday wishes at the bottom. And I sort of justify it to the left side. See? Easy as that. And then for all 3 levels, this is going to be the same process. I am going to use a dry aqua painter, and I'm not going to paint the entire image, but you'll get the idea. So I use a little palette, and I take my markers. In this case, I'm using Old Olive. And for the flowers, I'm using Melon Mambo and Regal Rose, Daffodil Delight, and Peach Pizzazz. No, Peach Parfait. Everything's a pizzazz, isn't it? Sorry. Peach Parfait. And Marina Mist. And of course, Baja Breeze. So for the stems and the leaves, I dampen the brush. There's no water in the barrel. I dampen the aqua painter, and I remove the excess. And then I roll the brush into the ink, and then just pull it along, and you can make it thicker or thinner, or add more color, or make it a wash of color by having a damper brush. But it gives you a lot of flexibility and a little more control than if you have water in the barrel. So you're just going to color your images. I used 2 different colors on this one. I applied the Melon Mambo first and then the Regal Rose, and then with the Aqua Painter damp I just blended them. This was the peach and the daffodil, and then the 2 blues on this one. So pretty easy to do. Then all you're going to do is adhere it down on your card base, attach a simple knot with Baja Breeze, and that's your step 1 card. Step 2 card is the same exact painting detail for the image. The difference in the card are the mats. I added a simple, basic black, very thin mat to the printed paper from Playdate series, and then also a simple thin mat to the image, and layered it. This time I also used the Baja Breeze, but I tied a bow, and then with the bow I took a button. I think these are actually celery, but they work with pear and old olive if it's light enough. And then a little linen thread to tie it. And I did add this time, I used the butterfly stamp from the Sweet Summer, and I cut it out and used a mini glue dot to pop him on there, and that kind of gives a nice little touch. Easy peasy. And then our level 3 card is a little more detailed, but pretty much similar. So also starting with the matted piece of Designer Series paper with my sewing machine. Can you see? With my sewing machine I did this detail on the mat and the image piece. So I just sewed around, which wasn't hard. And then as I took the same image with the bow and the button with the linen thread, but the difference this time is I took a second stamped image. I did the same thing, and underneath it's painted. I don't know if you can see, but I stamped and painted another set of these 3 flowers, painted them, and then cut them out, and then popped them up with a dimensional. And it adds a nice little detail, and I added the 2 brads. It's very easy to do. I know I have white paper here. I'll show you quickly using this one. It takes a little more time, which is why it's a step 3 card, because it does require a little more detail with cutting that out. But you're going to paint it just like you did the original image, and I would do the exact same that you did on the base, so that when it pops up you can still see the color underneath. So very simply I just painted, and I wasn't terribly exact except when I got to the edges, but I even colored this center bit with Daffodil Delight. I have to stop in a minute because I lose track of what I'm trying to think and do. So, okay, there you go. Pretty easy. I might go back and the Daffodil Delight sort of washes out when it dries, so I'm pretty sure I went back and did a second layer there. But for time purposes, we'll just go ahead and go. And then I added the peach, and it did fine just over the daffodil. And you add that in, and once it's dry, it doesn't take very long, you're going to cut it out using your snips. Easy peasy. And this is where you're going to take your time and really cut carefully. I start there, but then I would go back and remove this little bit of white, as you can see, so it looks like a head of flowers. And with that, just don't forget your dimensionals. I just used a mini glue dot for the butterfly, and it gives him just a little dimension, but it allows you to fluff up his wings as well. So let me show you these again. And this one is the step 1, step 2, and step 3. That's in honor of Amanda and her birthday. So I hope you all have a great week and you found this video helpful, and you'll check in again next week. Have a great week. Bye-bye.